Each week we bring you all of the latest film news.
From interviews with filmmakers and actors to the new cinema releases.
In this wasteland, I am the one who runs from both the living and the dead. A man reduced to a single instinct.
Welcome to Arts Alive film, coming live from the Thunderdome, well, Odeon Liverpool 1. I'm the toe cutter. Well, toe.
I'm the Night Rider, aka Tony Lindsay, and we're here to review
Mad Max.
Fury Road.
Yes.
So what do we think?
Ooh, I loved it.
Absolutely amazing. $150 million epic.
I don't ruin sunglasses for no one.
Absolutely.
Except Max.
This is superb. George Miller is back. This 70-odd filmmaker lost none of his magic. Fantastic stunts.
It's a pace unrivaled. It's just from the opening credits,
post-apocalyptic.
Credits, it grabs you by the scruff of the neck and it will not let you go for its duration. And that is the great. It was I felt like I could have watched another hour easy.
Yeah, it's 2 hours long, but it doesn't feel like it. It's absolutely full-on action. But you've got some great characters in there. You've got Charlize Theron as Furiosa.
What a great twist of the way they've played with the characters. You put a real, feminine with very light on the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Save maybe for...
But she really does hold this film together.
I mean, she really has pain.
And then, of course, we've got our own Tom Hardy as Max himself.
What do we think of Max?
I was missing Mel Gibson, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But
I agree. I know what you mean. But like I'd said, but we'd spoken about, I always felt, I was worried it would... I would imagine George Miller's thinking of longevity, and having Mel in there, it would have to be a continuation of the other trilogy.
And he'd already got to a point at the end of Thunderdome. So we do actually go back to basics at times.
Absolutely. I think we're kind of,
he's still haunted by the demons, by the death of his wife and his daughter, who you may remember, those of you who remember the original '79 Mad Max.
That's right. Max
he's murdered by thugs out on the road,
which leads him to a path of vengeance, and then he becomes
the Road Warrior.
Yeah.
But no, this is great. John Seale shoots it, comes out of retirement to shoot it, the great John Seale. 90% of this is practical effects, so we're not talking CGI. There's very little CGI in this. The production design is amazing.
I think at the time, there were lots of actioners around when the time of Mad Max, but because of its low budget, it went on to be one of the most successful independents.
Well, it headed up the Australian New Wave at the end of the 70s, didn't it? And then consolidated Mel Gibson's star appeal in the early 80s. But no, this is absolutely fantastic. This is more about human life is the thing in this, rather than
damaged people trying to find. I mean, they talk about hope like it's as elusive as the petrol that they all want.
Well, of course, because in the old ones it was petrol and water were the commodities they were after, but here it literally is life.
Hope,
this gang.
Go and see it.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Okay, so Spooks.
What do you think?
I'm a big fan of Spooks, the BBC drama series. Really enjoy it. They brought it to the big screen. Peter Firth there.
I mean, it's one of the big high-enders on TV, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
It had film aspirations all over it
from
when
the
you
great
watched it.
company Kudos.
Yeah.
But this, unfortunately to me, this just feels like a TV movie.
Yeah.
There's nothing cinematic about it.
I wish we could say more really that it was the cinema outing that we were expecting, but it really, despite it being on a widescreen, presentation, it didn't escape the TV edges.
Bharat Nalluri, he directs now. Bharat, he directed the very first episode of Spooks, as I remember. Really good, competent, effective TV director. He's worked on Spooks, Hustle. I just think he needs to up the game here.
And I think the game is within the themes, and what the characters are capable of and do. But we'll come on to that with Harry.
Harry Pierce goes rogue in this one. MI5 dropped the ball. Big terrorist escapes. Harry's for the chop. He goes rogue. He thinks there's a traitor.
Someone's trying to rubbish MI5.
MI5, yeah. And they're standing on the sidelines. You've got David Harewood,
who's quite good as the overall boss.
Yeah, and then you've got Tim McInnery, Jennifer L, and of course playing the big hero of the piece is he says, look in his notes, Kit Harington, who's the up and coming Game of Throner.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
But he's a bit of a. Is he spot on?
No, the character he keeps dropping the ball throughout.
He keeps dropping the ball.
He's the most incompetent agent MI5 have ever.
Haunted incompetence, and we were saying. I mean, it become a little bit of a laugh, really.
Yeah.
You're saying, how much more can he get wrong or cause murder?
He's turned by everyone, isn't he?
Isn't he? Played by everyone. Yeah. And you go, he's not learned his lesson. He's getting played again. But sorry, go on.
There's a great grainy kind of grey look to it.
London looks great.
London looks great. There are some lovely overhead shots, but it still doesn't have that. They should have really opened it up. For me,
what do you reckon on Peter Firth?
Peter Firth, Peter Firth should have been.
They're turning him into this mythical anti-hero.
You mentioned Callan.
Yeah,
kind of
it felt like
David
that world weary. But Callan never really made it to the cinema either.
No, it was
the classic of its nature was locked in its TV.
But that was classic TV Callan. One of the best, but no. If you're a Spooks fan, you'll go and see it.
If you're a Spooks fan, you must go and see it, of course. But I think you'll find that the TV, definitely
it's there. It's already there in the TV.
If you're thirsty already, okay.
Yeah. I was in MI5 just long enough to realise you can do good, or you can do well. Sooner or later, they make you choose.
So that, believe it or not, is the end of part one.
Coming up in part two, an interview with producer-director Neal Edelstein. See you after the break.
Hello, my name's Tara. I'm one of the hosts for Sing Along Productions. We're coming very soon to Warrington and Liverpool to do Sing Along of Frozen. All you Frozen fans out there. On the 23rd of May we'll be in Warrington, and then we'll be at the Liverpool Empire on the 13th of June. Look forward to seeing you.
The cold never bothered me anyway.
So, welcome back to part two, coming from Odeon Liverpool 1. What have we got next, Tony?
Next, we have an interview with Hollywood producer-director Neal Edelstein. This is the guy. He's worked with some of the greats. He was behind the Americanization of Ring 1 and 2, and he worked with David Lynch on The Straight Story and Mulholland Drive.
Straight Story, what a film.
Earlier this week, our producer, Sean Troke, went down to interview him. Take a look at this.
Did he now?
Hi, Mom. It's me, Melissa. If something's bothering you that you have been trying to tell me, that you could just come out and say it. so that you could rest in peace.
Mr. Neal Edelstein, thanks for speaking to us today. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us. Like, it's 8 hours of time difference is pretty insane, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Sean.
What time is it where you are?
2 p.m. Well, actually, I'm sorry, 2:20 p.m.
2 p.m. Oh, wow, okay. Yeah. It's nearly like 11 o'clock at night here. That's crazy.
Yeah. Sunny
Cool.
and clear here in California.
Oh, you're so lucky. It's just windy and raining here in Liverpool, so that's it. Cool. So anyway, could you tell everyone, like in the show, like who you are, your background, and where you've come from, and like what it is? Brilliant.
Yeah. Well, I'm a director, producer, a new director, working in the entertainment industry in Los Angeles. Originally from Chicago, grew up, born in the city of Chicago, raised north of Chicago, in an area that probably everyone knows if they've seen the John Hughes movies like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, Home Alone, all shot like where I grew up in that area. And then ended up in Los Angeles after I went to university and kind of started as a PA at the bottom driving trucks. Really had a passion for movie making and films and film history, and as a kid in Chicago was raised kind of like in front of the TV watching like old horror films and subtitled westerns and you know was exposed to movies at a young age, like I think a lot of people were that are passionate about the film industry, and that kind of brought me to California and got in the industry really at the bottom when music videos and commercials were booming, so there was a lot of work and I was able to get a lot of experience in the nuts and bolts, I call it, of production, making how physically things are made, driving a truck to go like pick up where the dolly's manufactured in the valley, you know, like at J.L. Fisher, and kind of demystifying how it was all done, and always had an eye towards being more of a creative film producer, although I love the physical aspect of filmmaking, and just got fortunate over the years that I was able to kind of get into the right places with the right people and kind of evolve my career that way. So I come from my roots in the film world are from like making the physical aspect, and then you know I had to work my way into kind of more the creative side of Hollywood and putting projects together, films, TV shows, and have a passion for just kind of like every kind of movie. You know, I'd make a musical if I could find the right script and find the financing. So, and currently over the last couple of years I've started directing, and I started making these applications where I wanted to, when I got the iPad, I realized what a breakthrough. I wanted to turn this screen into kind of a direct cinema to audiences. So I thought like, hey, I can go out and make a movie and deliver it directly through an application to people and not put it in the iTunes store, make it an app, wrap it in kind of the iOS software and deliver it to people in bits and pieces. Use the software and the technology of the applications to create a different delivery experience. So that's really where I am today. I'm still developing a lot of movies and TV and looking to produce, obviously, still, and direct as well.
Something terrible happened in this place.
So this new project you got going, it started off with Haunting Melissa, wasn't it? Could you just tell us where that idea originated from? Because it was
Sure.
an original idea to come up with, wasn't it? It was no one had done it before.
No one had done it. I mean, it's kind of like a passion to tell like a real simple ghost story, and then wanting to again deliver it directly to people on their mobile devices. As kind of like mobile technology exploded, I saw this opportunity to get to people directly on their devices, which have become such personalized items, right? Imagine if you could just grab somebody on their device and show them this original piece of content that they couldn't get anywhere else. So that's where Haunting Melissa sprung from. I mean, the technology is wonderful and the tools are wonderful and we love our devices, but great storytelling hopefully is the thing that draws people in continually. So that was my impetus. And again, it's not a movie. It's not like 2 hours. It's more than 2 hours. It's content that comes to you in bits and pieces. So it's pushed to you, kind of like how Dickens initially published his short stories in the paper. It's kind of like in increments. It could be 10 minutes one day, 3 days later, it could be 20 minutes, 2 days later, it could be a minute. I really wanted to kind of have this disjointed push to you. So Haunting Melissa came from wanting to tell a simple ghost story and also wanting to leverage technology.
Sure. And so like, and how's it going? How are people reacting to it? Like, what's the reaction?
Well, the first one did really, really well, so much so that we did a sequel. The first one's found footage. The second app in the story journey is called Dark Hearts, The Secret of Haunting Melissa, and that's more of a traditional film. It's shot traditionally, meaning it's not found footage. So the first one did really well, and the second one's doing very well. It's been a really interesting journey to see how these apps continue to have a life, because they're always brand new to somebody. It's not like a big push for a movie or a TV show where it's like, oh, the season's over and you miss it. People are continually discovering Haunting Melissa for the first time every day, so that's what makes it unique and challenging from a marketing perspective.
Yeah, that's great. So the people from Liverpool have been watching this show, and when it gets onto YouTube in a day's time after it's been broadcast, people can watch this show. Can you tell people how they can go about watching it for themselves, and how can they start from the very beginning and watch all the episodes?
Absolutely. If you go to the App Store, right now it's exclusive to the App Store. You just look for Haunting Melissa and download the app, and you'll be able to get the app for free initially, and then the pieces incrementally cost money, but it's cheaper than going to a movie. You can watch it multiple times. We also have this thing called dynamic story element. So if you go back and watch, things change. That was another thing we wanted to do, is push the technology. How can we make stories different? How can we change expectations? So if you watch the story upon multiple viewings, the story may change. And that's been a fun part, to see how fans react to that. So we think it's passive movie experience, but it's got all these different things that make it unique. So go to the App Store and download it, and then download the sequel as well.
Brilliant, excellent. So you're now directing it. You got established as a producer first of all, didn't you? So what's the transition like going from producing to directing? Do you find it's more fun directing, or?
Great question. Yeah, directing's awesome. I think when you're a film producer, if you're really a true film producer in the sense of the word, that you're there all the time and you're supporting your filmmaker and supporting your director, but ultimately supporting the film, you're always there, and you're kind of you're there to help and usher the movie through to what the ultimate goal is. And you're in control, but you're not calling the shots as a director would. So when you start directing, when I did, I felt like I had a lot of experience on my side, that I knew what the limitations were of making a movie, and I knew how to manage a schedule. I knew how to manage a crew. I knew how to manage a budget. So it wasn't like I wasn't fighting the man or fighting the system, because I knew that there was a responsibility with producing, which is really the responsibility to the project, which is coming in on budget or under budget, and making sure that you're going about it in a way that you can protect yourself in the long run. Do you have more money in post-production where things are really valuable? A director who doesn't necessarily have a strong producer may take advantage of things in production and then be shortchanged in post-production. So I think it was a huge advantage to have producing experience, massive advantage, and I think made me a better director for sure, and I think will ultimately make me a better producer as well. But it's a different thing to direct, but it's probably a lot more fun than producing for sure, although I do love producing.
I agree with that one.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're on the sequel now to Melissa, and what's after that? What's your next step?
Well, in the app series, hopefully we can do another one. That's always in the balance. The stories are built in a way where they're kind of like a franchise in a world that keeps expanding. It's psychological horror. For me personally, I'm looking at a couple of scripts that I want to shoot as features. I'm very interested in a few of them. They need a little bit of work, so I'm kind of doing development work on those. I've got a TV show that I want to shoot as well that I'm working on. So I'm just trying to find great ideas and great stories and things that inspire me, that make me wake up every day and go, I really want to go out and do this, because how hard it is to get things made, and it's hard to make them. And so I want to find these things that I'm passionate about, and try to make sure that I every day have this sense of discovery and excitement about creating film or TV, creating, that excitement about shooting something, anything, even if it's 2 minutes long. You got to have that passion and excitement about it. So that's kind of my daily journey.
That's cool, man. At least you keep creative. And so obviously you got this feel for this directing, so you want to definitely do more of that.
I do, for sure, absolutely. I think it's a lot of fun, man, and it's very rewarding to work with other creative people and work together to kind of bring this end result of a finished product. Really hard to make it good and great, but super challenging, and that's why I think we do it.
I'm coming.
Who's coming?
Dead.
Neal, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today. Thank you very much,
Sean.
and I hope you enjoy the rest of your sunny day in Los Angeles.
Yeah, stay dry there, pal. Thank you.
Wicked, mate. Cheers.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Bye-bye.
What an interesting guy.
Excellent.
Certainly knows his onions. Okay, we're not going to be with you next week, so we're going to leave you with a taste of a trailer. Half term.
We're going to be playing out every day.
We're going to be playing out every day. So we're going to leave you with a trailer for Tomorrowland, the Disney epic.
Looks good.
George Clooney, Brad Bird directing. He of Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, The Incredibles.
My kid's favourite and mine. I had the Iron Giant. Always a favourite.
So have a look at this. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
See you soon.
What if there was a place where nothing was impossible? Where you could build whatever you're crazy enough to imagine. A place where you could actually change the world. You want to go? Buckle up! Tomorrowland.
Whoa, what an excellent guest he was.
He was. What?
That was it. What an interesting bloke.
I missed the noise that time.
I'll put it in this time.
Well, it was like the whir of a post-apocalyptic engine.
Right, so you want cheap? You want free? You want something easy to do in Liverpool? I'm talking about all the things that are coming up in this show for the half-term holidays.